Hey, welcome everybody. Glad that you joined us for this month. Um, I am so excited about our topic for this month's market update and looking forward to sharing some new information with you. We are going to take a little bit of a break from our normal market theme for this year and talk about a topic that we in our office are getting a lot of inquiries about that I think will interest you specifically. And so come on along for the ride. It should be a good uh, monthly meeting here. So, Chuck, glad to have you on board with me. Welcome. Good to have you join us. And
Thank you, Mike. Always a pleasure.
yeah, I mean, so Chuck, I mean, we're going out of this world this month, right? We are blasting off.
Unintended.
Yes, intentionally intended. We are blasting off. We're shooting for the moon. We are going to talk about space and space exploration. And, a lot of people think we're out of this world. I mean, usually they think that's like crazy, local, right? Out of this world. However, we're out of this world. We love what we do. We're over the moon about the work we get to do for. I'll stop. I know everybody's cringing right now. However, space, the next frontier, not the final frontier, as Picard said, but the next frontier. It actually is an important thing to understand a little bit because as we've talked in the past about market growth, we need legs, right? We need engines that pull the market into new frontiers. And we've gone through the technology revolution. We've gone through AI, right? Right now, we're in the middle of it. Space is the next piece coming along that realm, at least in our opinion. And so it's important to start exploring and understanding that now a little bit and how it may shape our portfolios. Do you agree?
Absolutely, I would agree, Michael. My goodness gracious. This is going to be a fun topic to jump into.
Yeah. So let's dive in and let's tackle this a little bit and see if we can't help people begin to wet their palate for what may be coming in the years ahead.
I'd be more than happy to. I love the way you changed the opening of, we all think of space, the final frontier, right? From the famed Star Trek television series, Captain Kirk, followed by Captain Jean-Luc Picard. But actually, that word frontier, Michael, was taken from President Kennedy, John Kennedy, if you remember, back in the early 60s, challenged the United States to go to the moon, as you said. He called it the new frontier. I like the way you said the next frontier. I think that's actually the best way for folks to describe it. It will not be the final, but it is the next one. And my goodness gracious, as that first slide shows, what's the opportunity here, Michael? We put it in numbers, $1.8 trillion. Now that's with a T. We don't use the word trillion unless we're talking about the government budget, right? Or debt in the United States. But this is fascinating, Michael. If you think about today, uh, it's the last few years, let's call it, the opportunity set at about $630 billion. Estimates by McKinsey and Company and other experts who have delved into this suggest that that could more than triple by 2035. That takes its way, Michael, as a what we call a compounded annual growth rate of about 9%, which is two times faster than global GDP. GDP here in the United States could grow at 4% on an annualized basis in Q2, but think of that consistent doubling literally over the next uh, 10 years. When you think about it, Michael, the way that it's broken down, I think that best our investors can understand is you have kind of this space infrastructure, if you will. It's the backbone, if you will, about how we all view space. So satellites, launchers, global positioning systems, defense, Star
Communication.
Wars,
Yeah.
exactly. And then you get the reach, which I think when we wrap this up, you're going to talk about this outside opportunity with the space-enabled economy. So you get industries that can actually benefit from outer space. You think of logistics, agriculture, finance. even ride hailing. So it's an economy and an ecosystem that is set here to actually move north the needle here of what we're looking at. So if you take a look at that backbone, Michael, and you break it down into the four components, as the next slide shows, we all think of government, right? Civil and defense. This is really driven by sovereign defense budgets, not just the United States, but around the globe. So military space, space programs, you then get into digital communications, connectivity with our mobile phones, broadcast television, broadband in general. And then you get something called positioning, navigation, and timing. The industry refers to this as PNT. This is the fastest growing segment. So you think of GPS, right? Global Positioning System. But there's something called GNSS. That's the Global Navigation Satellite System. So the way for folks to think about this is we all have phones, right? Say I got an Android, you got an iPhone. That's kind of the GPS. It's how one particular component works into the entire system, which would be the GNSS. And of course, we got commercial competition intensifying. Here we are broadcasting in June. Wink, wink. The whispered date of the launch of SpaceX, Elon Musk's company, is set to be possibly June 28th, which is his birthday. But that's launch vehicles, that's satellite manufacturing, imagery, all of that working into that ecosystem. Again, we think of this industry as just that, but it's all the others that we just kind of mentioned here.
Yeah,
And then
and
you think,
Chuck, before you
yeah,
move on from that, I want to capture
yeah,
that for a second and remind people that about, I don't know, 2, 3 years ago, we had talked about digital technology and how it was rapidly increasing. And I don't know how many of you were paying attention or can remember back to a time where I was talking about how from the 70s to the 90s, over a 20-year period, technology kind of doubled in capacity. And then from the 90s through the 2010s, it doubled
yeah,
again. And it was estimated that from 2010, cut that down now to 2020, capacity doubled again. And what you see happening is the time frame between technology stepping to that next level is like an exponential curve. And estimates were that by 2040, technology would be doubling in its power and expertise every year. I mean, it's rapidly growing that
amazing.
quickly. And with AI in the mix, even while men are sleeping, women too, are sleeping, AI is actually still building upon itself. And so this curve is rapidly accelerating. And so that's part of it. It's not just rocket science, it's what rocket science is going to do in elevating productivity, performance, exploration, all these things. And that to me, that's a way bigger picture that people need to start grasping and understanding and doing that.
Yeah, great observation. We grew up with Moore's Law, Gordon Moore's Law, which you just nailed about how memory and semiconductor processing chips, the old CPUs, every 5 years would double. And we've seen that curve exponentially move north, and it's continuing to do so. And that's kind of what this next slide gets at, where we call this the reach, which is that set of industries that parallel or in the ecosystem of space in general. And I love what you mentioned. You talked about this adoption curve. If you look in the middle of that chart, EO, which is Earth observation, so enabled services, that's the fastest adoption curve. And it's agricultural insights. What can we gain from looking at the earth from afar? Insurance risk pricing, right? If we're able to identify storms or earthquakes or other nature events that occur beforehand, climate monitoring, construction, you can see them on the chart here. The other one that's interesting too is the one on the top, which is the largest reach, and this would make sense, but PNT, again, positioning, navigation, and timing enabled services. So you got ride hailing, fleet management, all being done from space, the ability to make logistics as efficient as possible. So this is cutting all, if you will, industries, Michael. And the last one is this cross sector. So this is where you throw everything plus the kitchen sink. You got financial services, energy companies, healthcare, smart cities, disaster response. So all of this, again, is set to be elevated, as you use the correct word, exponentially by just being able to leverage space. What isn't even talked about in this, Michael, is the thought of actually having data cloud storage centers in space. Jensen Huang, the great CEO of NVIDIA, talked about that last week after their earnings call. And if you just think about that, because those type of data cloud storage centers, they need to be cooled. Well, we use air conditioning technology in space. You don't need that, right? It's cold in space, but you also have the sun's energy to tap in. So it's almost, I don't want to use the word limitless, Michael, but I'll use the sky. The sky is not the limit, as we would normally say, right? Because we're going to go on beyond the sky, beyond, I should say. A good chart, Michael, is this next one where you can see we got the old space shuttle launched on the right-hand side. But this kind of gives you an idea product-wise. If you look at the upper left-hand corner, you can just see again, these are the ones that to us would be ones we're already observing, but certainly chips in vehicles, wearables, you have drones um, that are able to talk to satellites. The thing that's really intriguing, Michael, on the bottom left-hand corner is the efficiencies that this industry has been able to undertake. There's been these much cheaper launches, reusable rockets. Remember the SpaceX one that was launched several years ago, Michael, which was set up into orbit, came back down again. They use um, I guess the metaphor that you could take a rocket, send it up into orbit, bring it back and lay it on toothpicks is what people said, but actually the rocket itself set itself back into the launching pad. So we're able to make dramatic, not only technological advances, but also cost cutting at the same time. And Michael, when you have those two in concert, it means investable ideas ad nauseum. And I'd like you to close it out if you could, my friend. I know that last slide, I kind of think it sums it up really good.
Yeah, I mean, and wow, we could talk all day about this stuff. This stuff is actually exciting to me, but I don't
Yes.
want to do that. We've used about the allotment of time that we usually plan, and I know some of you are probably watching this while you're eating your lunch or snack. So let me just wrap up by saying you're going to hear a lot more about this. And in this last slide, just kind of pointing out all of the places that the technology that's driving this space exploration and also that's connected to it is very far reaching. And so when you look at this and we talked about the basics of just defense and security, climate monitoring, etc. But I wanted to look at the things that are marked in yellow when we talk about that reach. This is going to have changes in the food and beverage industry, right? Just in how we order supplies and get them places. And we're already doing it. We order on our phones and it shows up on our doorstep, right? Because of the technology that enables those systems. Improvement in agriculture and how we plant and harvest and grow. Um, Insurance industry, we already talked about supply chain, transport, even shopping, retail. Look at what's changed in the last 10 years alone. We used to go to stores. I've been told by my kids that's old timer stuff, Dad, right? And now we shop online and maybe go find it or go pick it up, or we just say, hey, send it to me, right? And so much change and adaptation, it is impacting our lives and will continue to do so. And so for everyone listening, this may scare you or it may make you feel, oh, wow, that's the next leg of growth coming. Wherever you're at, just know this is something we want to continue to talk about and educate you on. In our portfolios, we are looking at all of those peripheral industries that are impacted. The electricity needs, the data needs, all of these other industries where we're going to see improvements and suggestions. And so we're going to pinpoint those and adding them into portfolios strategically, adding specific organizations, companies that fit into that mix to take advantage of what we see as more growth coming, moving forward and doing that. To me, this is exciting. I know to some it's scary. So stick with us. We'll continue to talk about and educate and work through this as we move forward. Uh, but thanks for joining us this month. I hope this was a little insightful. I know it was a lot, so I have a suggestion for you. Actually, we put a lot of information on those slides, some historical things and some new things. Just scroll back and pause on each of those slides if you want, and take a minute to read them. I think you'll find it helpful and insightful and digest them. Feel free, as always, to reach out to us with questions. We're excited about what's coming down the road and how it will affect or change or potential to improve our lives. And as you have questions, you can always give us a call. If you like this and you want to continue to hear more, hit that subscribe button and follow us. We put these out every month, and hopefully you're liking them and sharing them with your friends. Oh, well, shoot, just host a watch party. Invite your friends over for some dessert and coffee and put this right up on your TV. That's the technology that we're talking about that you can use too. You'll be the hero of your community. I'm joking, but you get my point. Thank you. Appreciate you all. I hope you're having a great start to your summer. Take care. We'll see you next time.